your puppet, the houseboy or the milkman or the maid. You know I will stay silent, I won't force it. You give me every chance to leave, but I still stay. I hold the light up close against the window, signaling for you to come inside. I lie awake and wait for you to get here, and I don't let it show, but I am really shy. I'm so
pleading not guilty to assault charges.
Garrett Pelz appeared in court today. Court documents show Pelz is accused of throwing a student on the ground at Spring Elementary School yesterday, and staff had to take other students out of the classroom after they tried to clean up the blood on the carpet with wet wipes. TPS Deputy Superintendent James Gantz says the district has placed Pelz on paid administrative leave. TPS released a statement tonight on the incident, saying in part, the number one priority for the district is the safety and security of our students and staff members. And anytime there is a reported incident between a student and staff member, the district takes swift and appropriate action. Stick with WTOL 11 as we follow this story. We'll bring you the latest updates on air.
Convicted double murderer Alec Murdaugh is making headlines again. This time a federal jury has indicted the 54-year-old with a variety of charges, including bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. The indictment accused Murdaugh of directing others to send attorney's fees straight to him rather than through the law firm. It also accuses Murdaugh of intercepting insurance proceeds that were intended for beneficiaries, but deposited the money into his personal account. Meanwhile, an alleged Murdaugh co-conspirator is set to appear in federal court tomorrow. 54-year-old Corey Fleming is supposed to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. This is in connection with the insurance claim from the death of Alec Murdaugh's housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. Murdaugh had recommended that Satterfield's sons hire Fleming to represent them and file a claim against Murdaugh to collect from his homeowner's insurance policy. Murdaugh and Fleming are accused of conspiring to siphon settlement money for themselves. Fleming faces a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000.
Northeast Oklahoma City, we've learned new information about the victim who remains in the hospital tonight.
Yeah, he's expected to be okay, but police still don't seem to have a suspect. News 4's Hunter Elise spent all afternoon at the scene talking with police to figure out what happened. Hunter, what'd you find out?
Dylan and Adria, you are exactly right. Oklahoma City police say when they arrived on scene this afternoon, they found a person with 2 gunshot wounds, and right now they still don't have any leads on who fired those shots. Sunday afternoon, the Oklahoma City Police Department got a call that shots were fired near a neighborhood. They say 2 cars were driving on Lottie Avenue when they turned onto 11th. That's when one person shot the other.
When we arrived, it was determined that one subject sustained 2 gunshot wounds.
Neighbors in the area told News 4 they heard the gunshots, some saying they heard 4 or 5 shots. Others say it could have been up to 12. One person says he even saw someone running away holding the side of his body, possibly covering a wound. The victim was transported to a local hospital in an ambulance. As for the suspect,
No leads at all. No, ma'am.
the investigation is ongoing. If you know anything about this,
Stabbing his ex-girlfriend to death in a Kalamazoo apartment building made his first court appearance today. 27-year-old Jeffrey Kucharski of Lawton was arraigned on open murder charges.
Police say that he killed 28-year-old Taylor Dragovich at Emerald Park Apartments off of East Cork Street just around 6 o'clock Saturday night. Court documents are also revealing a history of domestic violence.
News 8's David Horek is live now in our Kalamazoo studio with the latest on this. David.
Michelle and Brian, we obtained a copy of a personal protection order filed by Dragovich against Kucharski 2 months ago when the two were recently broken up. And in it, the incidents dating back to 2019 are detailed in her own words. The petition reveals a history of alleged violence, abuse, and threats by Kucharski. Dragovich details him acting suicidal, hitting her, throwing objects at her, and sneaking birth control medication into her drinks. She said that he would often blame her for his irrational anger, and his only coping mechanism was throwing things, yelling, and punching walls and doors. Dragovich added that Kucharski knew his anger was an issue, but refused to get counseling or otherwise guys get help to manage it. The protection order was granted March 23rd, 2 months before she was killed.
Sir, do you understand the allegation that has been made against you?
Yes, I do. In court today, Kucharski was arraigned on charges of open murder. His request for bond was denied.
Based on the nature of the allegations and the significant way in which it occurred, which involves the way in which the complainant was essentially killed, I do not believe that setting any bond is appropriate.
My understanding is that he did show up here at one time when he was not supposed to.
For 8 years, Dragovich worked for Lisa Ambrosio at Wenke Greenhouses, where they added security cameras and a buddy system in recent months. She says Dragovich had the determination to do more than what was expected.
She has such a passion for learning and wanting to do a good job. It was exciting to see her want to learn how to grow plants and taking the knowledge that she had the opportunity to learn things.
She left and she planned it out. She did it bravely. And she didn't go back.
Dragovich worked the last 4 years alongside Regina Rapier, a fellow survivor of domestic violence with whom she became good friends. From her radiant smile to her contagious laughter, she told us Taylor's presence was a constant, especially as she was starting to feel unconditional love from her friends and family.
In my saddest moments, it's like I can feel her hugs and I can hear her laughing. That's what I'm gonna miss about her. And I miss those times when I struggle at work, and just simply being in her presence was enough to make me feel better. And I know a lot of people felt that way.
Ambrosio said that Taylor was a registered organ donor, telling me that even in her death, she is still helping others. We're live in our Kalamazoo studio. David Horak.
Only on 2, a Texas City police officer pulled from the streets and under investigation tonight amid growing controversy over how he handled a traffic stop.
The man who got pulled over spoke only to KPRC2's Bryce Newberry, who has the body camera footage that's raising major questions.
Hey man, you can't drive through the parking lot like that.
This 23-minute traffic stop at the Texas City Buc-ee's last month nearly landed Christopher Scholl in the slammer.
Everyone knows you cannot write tickets for traffic infractions on a private parking lot.
Under state law, he's right, but 4-year Texas City Police veteran officer Scott Harrell claimed Scholl was speeding and disregarding a traffic control device.
I'm not gonna write you tickets, but the only reason I'm not writing you tickets is because I'm out of tickets right now.
Video shows Scholl as compliant, but it escalated because Harrell said he didn't like Scholl's attitude.
You want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? You could go to jail for this.
3 minutes later.
What is the law designed to do, sir?
I know you want compliance. I know you want voluntary compliance. I know you want voluntary compliance.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands on the back.
Handcuffed because the officer said he was concerned Scholl would continue unsafe behavior.
Now we're playing Jean-Claude Van Damme future cop, and you need to stop me from something I may do in the future.
So he just keeps escalating it and trying to gain the authority to hammer me down.
Scholl asked him to cool off.
You have forced my hand at this point. Because if I don't go and see this through to its conclusion, I know you're going to go to the police department and file a complaint on me.
Another officer came to the scene, which is when they released Scholl.
So the other officer has a ticket book he's going to let me use. You're going to be receiving a citation, okay? And because I think going to jail is a bit excessive.
Scholl called the stop unjustified and a violation of his rights.
It wouldn't surprise me that he's been operating this way for a very long time.
Scholl, who says he's pro-police, wants something to be done so officers learn they can't treat people this way.
You hear all this defund the police and everything? Guys like him. This is why that happens right there.
The Texas City Police Chief says the department has strict policies that block officers from violating an individual's rights. So tonight, he has pulled Officer Scott Harrell from the streets and launched an internal affairs investigation, which he says could lead to possible criminal charges. We went by the address listed for the officer tonight. A man who stepped outside would not identify himself and wouldn't answer any questions. In Texas City, I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC2.
Like, subscribe, and comment below. See you next time.